Well lads, how is everyone keeping? Welcome to On the Kase with me, Kasey Campion. This is your backstage pass to my unpredictable and crazy life. Get ready for some of my chaotic story times, unfiltered opinions, and of course, a lot of ranting and oversharing. Every week, I'll be delving into different topics and I can't wait to bring you all along with me. So with that, let's get on the case. So I have wanted a podcast for the longest time, and as some of you may know, I like deep diving into things, especially stories about myself, things that have happened to me, hot topics at the moment, and that is exactly what this podcast is going to be. Also, if you're listening on Spotify, you can also find me on Apple Podcasts, and even better, you can watch full episodes on YouTube. Just search On the Kase Pod. Right, I'm just going to show you how I do my slick back, because you're literally,
are you not supposed to be recording your podcast?
Mom, have you seen my keys? There they are. Oh my god, I'm after breaking a nail! Oh my god! It's a joke. I'm hitting every single red light. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh yeah, baby! Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm literally in the car park now. Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Right, lads, let's go record this podcast. Oh my god, how do I even do this again? Okay. Alright lads, let's get this podcast recorded. Wait, I need to get changed. So, before we get on to this week's case, I'm going to give you a little rundown of my week. This segment is going to be called Keeping Up with Kasey. Every single week, I like to think, okay, maybe this week nothing crazy is going to happen, but literally every single week, there's at least 5 things going on in my life. So, this week I went to London on Tuesday. I know, London on a Tuesday, it was really given like your unemployed friend. So, I'm working with a company this summer called Party Hard Travel, and it's basically what it says in the name. It's like party, holidays, selling packages, trying to get young ones to go to all these mad party destinations, and that's basically why they're bringing us away, to promote it. But they had a launch event in London, which was for the Irish creators to meet the English ones. So obviously I was very nervous going over because I've never done like an abroad brand work trip before. I've never met the English creators. Obviously a lot of them would be a lot bigger than us, and the Irish circle is actually quite small, and like you kind of know everybody. So I knew one, they weren't going to have a clue who I was, or I didn't know if they were going to care. So yeah, of course my overthinking just went into overdrive. But I went over with Aidan Whelan and Dylan Flynn, who you might know as the Galaxy Boys on TikTok. I don't know if they still want to go by that, but that's how I found them initially. And Niamh Gallagher. There's a lot of us from Ireland due to go over in the summer, but last minute a lot of us backed out. Not me though, you know me, I'd go to the opening of an envelope. So who actually went to London was myself, Niamh Gallagher, she's from Donegal, you might know her from TikTok, and then 2 of the Galaxy Boys came as well, Dylan Flynn and Aidan Whelan. Such a random group. The 4 of us have never been together. I've met the lads before, never met Niamh though, and I literally just picked her up that morning just to go to the airport, and like obviously we've never met, so it could have went badly. But the morning we were going, I was actually up till 3 a.m. the night before because I had so much stuff to do for work. I had so many videos to edit. I hadn't packed, I had no clothes, and usually I'm so organised, but this was just a whole last minute disaster. So I went to sleep at 3. I was like, right, I'll set my alarm for 6, leave the house at 7. That gives me a full hour, you know, wash off the tan, pack last minute bits, make myself look semi-presentable, vlog a bit before I left. No. As I just said, I was meant to leave my house at 7 a.m. I woke up at 7:15. Bear in mind, Niamh, who I've never met before, who I told I would pick up for the airport at was leaving at 7:15. Told her I'd pick her up at about 7:30. She's now no way to get to the airport. So I leave my house, I'm like rushing, panicking. So after I picked up Niamh, we had to pick up the lads, Aidan and Dylan, who you think, you know, we're running late. You think they'd make my life easier for me and maybe be in the one location or be in the same house, considering they literally live in the same estate. But no, I had to collect both of them separately. It was lashing rain, as I said, rush hour, and this was just a nightmare. There was 1 hour until our flight when we got to the airport. We had to check in our bag, but stupidly we forgot to do that. So we went through to security, and one of the people was like, you have a 20 kg suitcase with you. So we had to go back out, but obviously you're not really meant to go back out once you get to security. So we had to like do this whole thing on the computer. We had to give them a reason as to why we were going back through. Then I thought, right, we have about 10 minutes. Surely we're going to go to our gate like normal people. Couldn't find Aidan and Dylan anywhere. Where are they? Sitting at the bar having a pint. Our flight's in 10 minutes. Me and Niamh were responsible. We didn't even get food. I think I grabbed a quick coffee though because I had to have coffee. But no, they were having a pint. So I am a very organised person, if you didn't already know. Like I 100% have OCD and my whole life is planned out to a T. And if anything goes wrong, my whole day is thrown off. So me and Niamh were like the airport moms, trying to find Aidan and Dylan, couldn't find them. They weren't organised at all. Aidan actually thought our flight was the day after. So thank God the night before London we texted being like, have you checked in yet? He didn't even know the flight was happening. So before we even arrived in London, the whole thing was just chaos. So we get to the hotel, and obviously this is my first ever brand trip abroad. So I wasn't sure what the hotel was going to be like if it was going to be like a hostel situation. I just didn't know what to expect. So we got there and it couldn't have been more the opposite. It was so nice, so fancy. Like they were checking us in on these iPads. It was just really modern. And the girl checking us in was like, here's the pool, here's the gym, here's where breakfast is. And the boys just kept laughing and joking in the background. It honestly felt like me and Niamh were their parents. She actually turned to them and was like, this information is for you as well. I was like, can we not be seen with them? Then I had to immediately unpack, because one thing about me is when I get to anywhere, whether it's a sleepover in my friend's house, whether it's a staycation, whether I'm staying at my granny's house, whether I'm in Portugal for 2 weeks, I need to unpack straight away. Everything. I'm talking like toiletries, socks, underwear, clothes, hangers, everything needs to be put up or I'm not leaving that room. So eventually when all that was done, we decided let's be tourists, because we didn't have any like thing on our like party hard agenda on the first day. We were able to get settled into it a bit. So I've been to London twice. I'm not great in London. The 2 times I went before, not that I didn't like it, but I just feel like I didn't know where to go. But Aidan had this great idea that he knew how to work the tube, and of course we just believed him. So we got on the tube, or the underground, whatever you call it, and first of all you can use your phone, which is great to just tap on, but I had no idea where we were going. He had no idea where we were going. Everyone on the tube obviously looks like and does know where they're going, and we just kept asking people, where are the the monuments, like where's the touristy stuff? And they're like what do you mean? Like there's loads of touristy stuff. And we were like, are we within walking distance of like, I don't know, Big Ben, anything of the sort? And they were just like, yeah, like everything's walking distance. So people weren't actually that helpful. Anyway, eventually we found some kind of bridge which looked touristy. I think it was, I want to say Tower Bridge or London Bridge. It was one or the other or both. We made a couple of TikToks. People were looking at us like we were crazy. I had the ring light out. I had it. I didn't care. You know me. Then we decided, right, we're out in the cold for 3.5 hours. We haven't really made any progress in finding Big Ben or anything like that. Let's just go back to the hotel. So we go back to the hotel and we decide to order Wingstop. Now, I am so obsessed. I've seen so many TikToks, but of course, I've never had it before. I am world's fussiest eater, so Wingstop is just perfect for me. It's literally chicken and chips. What could go wrong? So we ordered, I think, one of everything on the whole menu, went down to the lads' room, got the tripod out and did a full-blown mukbang. And as I said previously, they are just wild. They are unhinged. You don't know what's going to come out of their mouths. So it was great. But if you want to see more of that, it's on TikTok. So the following morning, it was time for party hard, and we had a full-blown itinerary for the whole day, which kind of scared me because I've mentioned this before online, but I am not a day drinker. I can't. It's either daytime or nighttime, not both. But our itinerary started from 11 a.m. So obviously the minute I woke up, I was like, I need to get ready straight away. But Niamh decided she wanted to pull a prank on Aidan, and she wanted to go into their room and beat him up with pillows. And I was like, I need to get ready, like my hair, my makeup, like everything is just so stressful. So me and Niamh got up. First thing we did was go and get a coffee. We went to the first place that we seen, right? But on the front of it said coffee/MMA. And I was like, what could that possibly mean? So we go in, we get a coffee, and we were like, what's the story with the MMA? And your man was like, oh yeah, downstairs, like we have an MMA centre, and like the guy that owns it is Irish. And we were like, no way, what are the chances? So we go down and there's fully like 2 blown men wrestling each other. I'm talking like one has his leg wrapped around the other fella's head, and they're like, oh hey, we're from Tipperary. Like it couldn't have been more random. But I needed to get back to the hotel. Okay, it was great to meet Irish people, but I need to get ready. I'm stressed. It's now 9:30. We need to be out the door by 11. Hair, makeup, TikToks, get the lads sorted. No, like I needed to leave. So we ended up arriving for about 11:30. And yeah, safe to say it was wild from the minute we walked through the door. Tequila rosé shots on arrival. 11 a.m. I literally said to the whole group, I was like, I'm not drinking that early. I'll drink water, pretend that I'm drinking. No, there was no getting away. There was mimosas and tequila rosé shots from 11 a.m. But look, I was nervous. We were meeting all these English creators who, first of all, were going to have absolutely no idea who I was. I've actually followed a lot of them for years, and they have like much bigger followings than us. And like I feel like the Irish creator circle is a lot smaller and we all know each other. So I was quite intimidated. Like there was people there that were on Love Island before. There was creators with like millions of followers, and I just felt like such a small fish in a big pond. But I had to remind myself, we're all here for the same reason. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna walk in and pretend I'm on Love Island. That's what I told myself. I was like, walk in confident, chat to a few people, introduce myself, and everything will be grand. So as I said, we had a full blown itinerary for the whole day. There was so much going on, but my favourite part definitely had to be the boat party. I feel like you do boat parties when you're in like Portugal and like Spain. I've never done like a boat party in like a cold setting. So we were terrified because we were wearing, it was a black theme. So I was wearing like literally a tiny little corset top and a skirt. But the boat had like, it was a closed boat, so it was fine. There was a DJ, there was drinks, there was so much going on. And the boat party was that good that afterwards we were like, well, we just end this on a high and go home. Obviously in London, we were like, right, well, we just stay out all night and go straight to our flight. No, we were mature. We got the lads, rounded everyone up, and the Irish, we all went back to the hotel. The English did stay out, but I feel like they didn't have flights to catch the next day. So we went home. Overall, it was a great trip. I can't believe I was in like London partying on a Tuesday to a Thursday. It felt like really random. And when I was coming home then, obviously it was just in time for the bank holiday weekend. So I thought I was great staying in, even though I was literally just partying in London during the week. So yeah, it did kill me. I did have FOMO. I told myself I would not step foot on Camden Street or in Coppers until at least February. It was literally February 1st and I was like shaking. I was like, get me to Coppers, get me to Coppers. I was like texting my friends because a good few of them were going out and I was like, will I, won't I? I was going to go and not drink, and then I was like, you know what? Just stay in. I asked my mother and she was like, Kasey, if you're ever debating something, the answer is usually no. So just don't go. So I was very productive. I cleaned out my whole room, which if you've ever seen my room, it's actually like a cesspit. The amount of built up orders that I haven't returned, clothes, laundry, makeup, it was just a shambles. So my cousin Ava luckily helped me clean that out. We watched Love Island, we watched Dance Moms, we ordered food. And then on the bank holiday Monday, I went on 2 5k runs. I know. Here's me acting all wholesome as if I wasn't partying all week. But yeah, I did a run club on Sunday morning and then I did Monday morning. Then I did another run that afternoon for charity. So yeah, very responsible, wholesome bank holiday weekend for me. So that was a very eventful week, but it doesn't end there. The biggest news I have to share with you this week is I don't know how, but I was nominated for a Gossy. So if you don't know what the Gossies are, basically in my world, as in like influencer, content creator world, they're like the biggest awards. And only like 2 weeks ago, I was saying to, I'm sure you know, you might not know, Brandon, Shanice, Daniel, Neve O'Connor, all from Irish TikTok. I was like, how can I get invited to these awards? I just wanted to be invited. But I had written down in my manifestation journal, which I never share until the things come true, I had written down that I'd love to be nominated for newcomer. And like, I feel like if any year I had a chance at newcomer, it was going to be this year, but I didn't expect it. So I was sitting in work yesterday, I was on the radio, and next thing a girl texted me being like, you're nominated for a Gossy. And I was like, what? And it was all chaotic because I had to link, I had to speak like on the radio, so I couldn't like look at my phone. But when eventually I got to look at my phone, it was just there in front of me. I was just nominated for one, and like, I am really shocked, but I'm also like, the power of manifestation. I told myself, you will get nominated this year, it will be in this category, and you will be there. Even though I did kind of want to go just as like an invite situation, but now I'm going as a nominee, which is mad. And obviously I wouldn't be here without all of yous, and I wouldn't have been nominated without all of yous. And yeah, so you can actually vote every day if you're looking. Every 24 hours you can vote. I'm obviously going to have the link all over my socials. So yeah, I'd really appreciate if you took the time to vote for me. So that was what happened this week. It's only the first week of the podcast, and I've already gone from partying on a boat in London to cleaning out my room and having a chill night watching Love Island to then being nominated for, in my opinion, one of the biggest awards in the country, in my world. So that's only the start of the mad stories, and every week they're just going to get more mad. Now it is time to get on to the main event, which is On the Kase, and this week's case is me, of course. I feel like it's very fitting for the first episode to, you know, talk about myself. Would you expect anything less? But if there is other things you want me to talk about, certain topics or anything you want me to talk about, you can let me know on my socials, which is On the Kase Pod on both TikTok and Instagram. If you're listening on Spotify and you want to see my face, see what's actually going on, you can also watch on YouTube. As I said, the case is me. I know, shock, I love talking about myself, but no, I feel like a lot of you might know me from social media, but some of you mightn't, so it'd be rude not to fill you in. So I am Kasey, obviously. I'm 24. A lot of people tell me that I look younger, so I'm going to take that. But I'm from Meath. A lot of people think I'm from Dublin. I lived in Dublin until I was 4, but you know, I still like to say that I'm from there. I wouldn't claim like the Meath jersey or anything, but as long as I can remember, I've loved being videoed, being on camera. Like, I literally came out of the womb being videoed. My parents had like a little camcorder. They videoed our whole life. I'm actually going to get my dad on the case to get some of those videos out so I can show you. So I am one of 5 siblings. I feel like online I do post a lot about my siblings, but some people are like, oh, I didn't know you had this brother or that brother. Sometimes I show more of one brother than I would of the other. But as I said, my mom and dad videoed everything. I actually remember when my mom was announcing she was pregnant with the 5th child, she lined us all up. Like, I was going to say she's so like me, but I'm so like her. She lined us all up and she gave us all call a number to hold. And I'm definitely going to get my dad to get this video out so I can show you.
Now, Kasey, did you look at the number on Mommy's belly?
5.
And what do you think that means?
Round of it,
And she held number 5 over her belly. And she was like, oh, everyone look at my belly. And of course it was number 5 to like say she was pregnant, and we all screamed the house down. Somehow I still tried to make it about me. Look, it's no surprise. I've loved the attention since I was literally born, but I just didn't know at first what kind of attention I wanted. I feel like when I was younger, any attention was good, even negative attention, especially when I was in school. But now we're going to focus more on the positive attention. So what was I like at school? I feel like, and you know, I'm taking accountability now, I wouldn't like me if I was looking at me from the outside in, okay? I was that person that was posting 500 snaps on their Snapchat story every day. I was the person where anything that happened had to go on Instagram, had to go on Facebook, had to go everywhere. Like, you know, back in the day when on Snapchat it told you like how many seconds somebody's story was? The normal person's might have been 30 seconds. Mine was 700, literally every day. And I feel like some of the stuff I posted used to get me in a bit of trouble in school back in the day, but we will get into that further another time. I was actually a bit of a goody two-shoes in school. It might be hard to believe, but the thing was I was really loud and a bit obnoxious. I can say this now because it's a dream about myself, but I was actually quite good in school, so I feel like my teachers did like me. But surprisingly, from 1st to 3rd year, my parents don't know this, but I used to get kicked out of the class because I was so loud and never stopped talking, especially in geography. I would always get kicked out, and I'd be so afraid that one of my siblings would see me on the corridor and they'd be able to tell my mom and dad I was kicked out. But I still got an A in the junior cert. I'm holding on to that one. Clearly all the talking paid off, because now all I do is talk for a living between TikTok, radio and now a podcast. So there you go. If you're getting in trouble in school for talking, you never know. This could be your job in the future. So after school, didn't know what I was going to do. Had no idea. Not obviously. I was semi-smart, I'd like to think. I got like in the 400s in my leaving cert, not bragging or anything. But I feel like most people that got 400 points were like going to go do law or something. But like, I just hadn't a clue. So my mom was like, look, you love media, you love the attention, you love the camera. Why don't you just put down media and marketing? It's really broad. Just go and do that in Maynooth. It's close to where we live. Not the end of the world if you don't like it, because it's really broad. So went and done that for 3 years. And coincidentally, I did a radio module and a podcasting module. So it looks like it worked out for the best. So towards the end of 3rd year, we had a talk, like a careers talk of like where you can go with this degree, what can you use it for? And I'm not going to lie, I sat there going, what am I going to use this for? Yeah, I've done so many different modules and so many different subjects, but you know when you're like that age and you're like, where am I going to use this? Like when you're in school, it's like, will I ever use this someday? They had people come in that had done our course and got good jobs out of it, but I just felt like that was never going to be me. So after college, I went to Portugal, worked in a bar. That's a story for another day. I've had a couple of jobs in between, but I decided once I got back from Portugal, right, let's use this degree for something. Let's put those 3 years to use. And I had done work experience in FM 104 back when I was 16, and I loved it at the time. And obviously I did a radio module, so I was like, right, surely the right direction would be to get into radio, but how do you do that? How do you go about that? But I met somebody who was working on the promotions team and was showing me photos, said it was such a good job, and I was like, right, I'm going to apply literally the next day. So I applied the next day, didn't really hear anything for a couple of months, but then finally, March of 2023, got an email, had an interview, and I got the job. So I feel like it was really full circle. I definitely manifested it. You're going to hear me talk a lot about manifesting, because anything that I say, anything I've ever wanted will happen. Sometimes good things, sometimes bad things, but it really does work. But while I was waiting for that job to come up on the promo team, and when I was, unemployed and all that, that's when I started taking time to focus on TikTok. Now, obviously at the start, I didn't think or know if it was going to go anywhere, but I started going live. That's when I kind of hit 10K. So at the same time I hit 10K, got the job, everything finally started looking up. So yeah, as I said, I was on the promo team and I was literally willing to do anything they would throw at me. We done so many fun events. I worked at the marathon. I worked at loads of festivals during the summer, and it was honestly the most fun job ever. I also then kind of worked my way up. I started doing a bit of supervising, working in the office. Eventually I became full-time in the office. So yeah, I really just did anything they threw at me. But deep down, I always knew I wanted to be on the radio. While I was in the office, I was always sneaking into the studio and learning bits off the presenters, because that's the only way you can learn, like from actually seeing it being done. But then it came to a point where I was like, right, I need to actually physically start doing these things if I want to learn. So after doing every possible job there was, I said, right, this is now, it has to be the radio or nothing. So luckily something came up for me in January, and I haven't really said this online yet because I'm still a bit nervous with the whole thing. I'm still like coming to terms with it and getting like used to everything, but I am now on the radio. Like that's my job. No more like 9 to 5, no more promo team. I'm actually officially on the radio, which is mad because it is something that I've wanted all along and I finally have gotten it. And obviously in the background of all that, I was still doing my TikToks, a couple of viral moments here and there. I'm sure you are familiar with a couple of my story times. They will be revisited at a later stage. Hit 100k on TikTok last August and just everything has just skyrocketed, and obviously there was a lot of background work put in, which I like to delve into a lot, but yeah, overall I'm delighted and I'm finally getting to where I want to be. So from posting on TikTok and then obviously falling in love with being on the radio, there was only one more thing I could want: to talk even more. I then wanted a podcast, and as I keep saying, if you write these things down and if you believe they're going to happen, they will happen. Now, I don't mean write down I'm going to win €2 million. It doesn't work like that. It has to be something you believe will actually happen. So here we are. I now have a podcast. I will delve into other topics, I promise. It's not always going to be about me. Well, a lot of the time it will be, but if there's anything else you want me to talk about, you can send it into my socials, which is On the Kase Pod on both TikTok and Instagram. So another little secret, I'm full of secrets today. I posted on TikTok the other day that I needed you to send me in questions for a little Q&A I was doing. I told you it was something to do at work, but I didn't say what it was actually for. So that was for the podcast, and I did get loads of questions in. Some of them are a bit random, but we're going to go through some of them anyway. So first one in is, would you ever get a tattoo? Now, I feel like a lot of you probably don't know this about me. I've no tattoos, no piercings, never dyed my hair. I'm very boring, I know. No, I'd never get a tattoo. I feel like there's nothing, well, this sounds kind of grim. There's nothing that important to me that I put it on my body, but I feel like, I don't know, like if something's that important to me, I just like print it out and stick it on the fridge or something. There's no tattoos coming on me anytime soon. The next one is, how many serious relationships have you had? So this mightn't be a shock because we all know I spilled my whole last relationship online. Something I thought I'd never do. I've only had one relationship ever. Well, when I was like below 16, I think I had about 5, but none of them count. Yeah, one serious relationship that went on for 3 years. We all know what happened there. That will be revisited at a later stage, not right now. And then obviously in one of my most recent TikToks, I revealed that I was in a situationship. But yeah, other than that, no. One relationship, one situationship. That's me done. Men are goner for 2025. Okay, someone else asked, how many places have I worked in, or where have I worked? So I was a spoiled little princess, as my dad would say. I didn't start working until I was in college. I did bits here and there, like I sold tickets for Rights in TY, or like I sell tickets for like festivals like Higher Vision and make like €5 profit. My first job was in Dunnes Stores in Maynooth, worked there for 3 years, and to say I got a shock of reality when I started working there, because obviously like it's fast paced, real job, very busy, especially during COVID. But I know people get out about retail, but for a first job, it was actually great. And I loved it at the time. I do miss it now. Would I go back? Probably not. But yeah, it was great for a first job. Then, as I said, moved to Portugal, worked in a bar for 2 months. I'll go into that in a full episode about working, living abroad, all that. It was great, but long hours, long days, weirdos, that kind of thing. But again, great experience. Came back, worked in that cafe. My dad likes to call it the greasy spoon. That's again a story for another day that I'm actually afraid to tell. And then after that, started an FM104. So I actually haven't had that many jobs, but that's my live CV for you all. First kiss story time. So I was about 11, don't judge, okay? There was a fella who lived in my estate, and I really hope he's not listening to this because he'll just love that I'm giving him any form of attention. But I was obsessed with him. I had a diary dedicated to him and everything, and every now and again he decided that he wanted me, but it was very sporadic. He didn't really want me at all. And one day we organised the first kiss. Like, it was a full-blown production. Like, all the estate was involved. We were going to do it at this specific rock that we had in our estate, and yeah, we all met at the rock. That was grand. He arrived up on his BMX bike. It was a whole thing. He was shorter than me, but one of the girls lifted me up and put me onto the wall, and I scraped the whole back of my legs. I remember because I was wearing shorts. It was during the summer. So from the start, it was just a nightmare. And I was terrified that I was going to like get sick into his mouth. Guys, sorry, I know this is gross. But anyways, the countdown happened. The minute his lips even came a millimetre from mine, I audibly screamed, "Ew!" and pushed him over his bike. And the whole thing, everyone laughed, he ran away. It was traumatic. So yeah, I've never told that story either. That was my first kiss at 11. Someone asked, what keeps you motivated to do all your content? So, I don't know, OCD kind of? No, I have it in my head that if I don't post every day, that like someone's going to die. It's not true, but that's the way I think. I've posted every single day on social media, I'd say for definitely coming up to 2 years, which is probably not great for the head, but my head would be worse if I didn't post, do you know? But yeah, the biggest thing anyone will tell you with posting online is consistency. So that keeps me motivated. I obviously love interacting with all of you as well, and the more messages and comments I get and the more feedback I get, that just keeps me motivated to keep going. Last but not least, somebody asked, what is something we don't know about you? This one is so random, okay? But I am really good at the tin whistle. But when I say really good, I mean, like, I haven't touched a tin whistle now in, I'd say, probably 5 years. But if I picked one up now, I keep meaning to buy one on Amazon. If I picked one up now and you asked me to play a song, I can genuinely play it on the spot. Don't need notes. I actually don't even know the notes. I don't even know where you put your fingers, but any song, I can play it. I promise I will get one and play a song for you on the pod one day. So that is it for our On the Kase segment this week. I, of course, was the case, but as I said previously, if you have any topics or cases you want me to look into, you can let me know on Instagram and TikTok at On the Kase Pod. We are going to take a quick break, but after that, we'll be doing our Keeping Up with the Campions segment. You'll be hearing bits from my family, and we're also going to do some dilemmas. Welcome back to On the Kase. So this is our next segment. This is Keeping Up with the Campions, and I know a lot of you follow me from me, but a lot of you follow me from my crazy family. So I thought it'd be rude not to have them involved in the podcast. So every week I'll either be getting their input on things, or they'll be sending me in voice notes, or I might even have them on sometimes. So this week, as I was the case, I've gotten them to send me in some voice notes that I have not yet listened to, which is kind of scaring me because if you think I'm unfiltered, you should meet them. They've sent me in voice notes either exposing me, things that I do, story times about me, and yeah, I'm terrified to listen to them, but we can do it together. Okay, I have my phone. The first voice note is from my dad. Now, I genuinely have not listened to these, so I have absolutely no idea what this man is going to out me with, but let's listen to it together, and if it's too scandalous, you won't even be seeing this.
So when Kasey was 3, I'm going to say she was absolutely schizo about her shoes. She had a white pair of sandals that she wore to play school every day, and if there was a speck of dirt on her sandal, she would not get out of the car and literally refused to go into play school. So I got some white shoe polish, and every morning before she'd get out of the car, play school, and she'd say she had a speck of dirt on her shoe, I would produce this white polish, like one of those ones with a little sponge top, and I would completely whiten her shoes, so she had no choice to get out.
Okay, safe to say, it's obvious from a young age I had OCD. I actually knew this story was going to come up at some point. I also had a pair of blue shoes, and I was like, can you please get a blue, shoe polish, please? It didn't exist. So, yeah, and that was when I was 3. Imagine what I'm like now. Okay, this next one comes from my brother Jack. He's the oldest of the brothers, but he's still younger than me. He is 20, I want to say. This child doesn't use WhatsApp, so this was a commitment for him to send me this today. So let's see what he comes out with.
What's up? My name's Jack. I'm Kasey's eldest brother. And Kasey being someone that loves the spotlight, she posts on TikTok countless times a day, talks on the radio every night. There's one thing that she can't do, and that's order her own food. And now this is whether it's ringing the food for collection. She won't ring it. She won't go in and get it. If it's for delivery, she'll hide in the kitchen, get someone else to get it. I've been in other countries and I've gotten a text off her asking for her to ring in Chinese. And I'll always do it. But in all honesty, it's an embarrassment. She can't fend for herself when it comes to takeaways. And she's the number one advocate for getting a takeaway. So if that's not embarrassing, I don't know what is.
Okay, this is true. It's so funny, we must be telepathic. I was only thinking this last night when I was sitting here on the radio. I was like, I'm speaking to, I don't know how many people through their car radio, and I cannot ring the Chinese. I can't go in. I can't even ask for ketchup in a restaurant. So this one is fair. I'll actually take this one. Okay, last but not least, this is from my cousin Ava. I feel like a lot of you mistake her for my sister sometimes because we're literally together all the time. She knows me inside out, and she has so many scandalous stories on me, so I'm actually afraid for this one as well.
Hello everybody, my name's Ava and I'm Kasey's cousin. Now, there's a lot of traits of Kasey's that I love, but there is one that I absolutely cannot stand, and that is that she is possibly the loudest chewer that's ever walked the planet. I don't know what it is. It could be something as smooth as ice cream, mashed potatoes. She will still figure out a way to make the loudest smacking, chomping, chewing noise possible that she could. So, If you're planning on taking her out on a date, maybe skip the meal and just go straight to the drinks.
Okay, so the first part where she went wrong, dates. We don't do dates. We all know that. But I didn't actually know that about myself. So I feel like this was a confession box for Ava. Okay, I won't be eating around her anytime soon. So that is it for keeping up with the Campions for this week, because I actually can't let them say anything else, but they will be involved a lot throughout the podcast. And obviously all my mad stories, they've all been involved. Like, I always forget they're real people as well. They're not just side characters in my mad life. So they will give their side of the story for a lot of my madness, and they will be back every week. Final section for my first ever episode, and probably the section I'm most excited for. So this is called Best Case Scenario. So basically, you're going to send me in your dilemmas and I'm going to give you my best case scenario for the situation. Now, obviously, I do this with my friends all the time. I don't listen to their advice. They don't listen to mine. Obviously, everything I say mightn't be, Bible advice, but it's what I would like to think that I would do in the situation, but probably wouldn't. So again, I asked you on TikTok for some dilemmas, told you it was for something to do with work. You all fell for it. Okay, another secret. I've got some dilemmas in and I'm going to read them out now. Okay, I have my laptop here. That is where I'm going to read the dilemmas from. If you want to send me in yours for next week, I would love to hear from all of you. So you can send them to me on Instagram at On the Kase Pod, or if you have a long one and you don't want Instagram to cut you off, we also have an email. It's onthekasepod@gmail.com. So the first one it's from a girl, obviously won't say her name, and it goes without saying all these are anonymous. I was getting with a fella for a couple of months. We weren't official, but we were getting on really well. One night we were out and he got with someone else who is now his girlfriend. I really fancy him and he is still texting me. Should I continue it and just go for it? The new girlfriend is really rich and has already brought him on holidays, so I don't know or understand why he's still texting me. I don't want to get a bad name, but is this my fault? Okay, so yeah, my first thing with this is that he is just trash. Like, he's getting his cake and eating it at the moment, which is unfair on the two of you. I understand that you were there first and technically you have no loyalties to the girl. But what I would say is put yourself in her shoes. If this was the other way around, would you want this to be happening to you? Probably not. I personally think you two should gang up, go to him together, confront him, then go off and live your best single life together, you and the other girl. Because why should some fella get to have both of you? And also, not that money and materialistic things matter, but if she's bringing him on holidays and he's still texting you, it's just, no, it's a goner in my opinion. He needs to be binned off by both of you. So as I let you all know in the Q&A earlier, I told you I was great at playing the tin whistle. Now, in saying that, I haven't touched one in about 6 years, but my lovely producer Vivian has just produced one. If you are watching on YouTube, you will see it. If you are listening on Spotify, you will hear it. And I'm now going to have to play a few requests. So God bless all your ears. Right, go for it.
Okay, Kasey. Request number 1 is Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay, I need to do a disclaimer. So basically, I don't know the notes. I just play it by ear. So it might take a couple of tries. I'm really hoping that I live up to what I said I could do. Okay, I'm really nervous now. Nobody judge me. Okay, let me just get a feel for these notes. Okay. No. No. No, I was getting there. Now, come on. That was literally the chorus.
Okay, continuing on with the top hits. As great as that was, I think let's scrap that. Let's move on.
Okay.
We're going to go with Chaperone. Hot to go.
We're going with the Grammy winners. Okay, right. I feel like I have this one. Just give me a sec. No! I nearly got it. Okay. No. Lads, I'm actually not that bad. Actually really good. That's off the bat, no notes, no nothing.
Kasey, that was very good. I honestly haven't believed you, but I really want to trip you up here. I feel like you're bluffing.
I'm not forgetting 2 in a row.
Let me think of another one. Okay, let me think of another one.
Imagine with practice.
Kasey, if there's one thing I know about you, it is your love for Peggy Goo.
Peggy Goo.
Has to be done. Give me a Peggy Goo hit.
Okay, let me think. Where am I going to go from? No, I have to go higher. No, I've lost it. Lad. Okay, hang on. Let me keep going. That was perfect. No. Now, lads, if that was me after not touching a tin whistle for 6 years, I think it was pretty good. And if you want this segment to return, I don't think my lovely producers will. Let me know, because I will bring this back every week.
I want to get behind you, but have you ever seen that? Did you ever watch Friends?
Yes, my favourite show of all time.
Do you know the episode where Ross wants to play bagpipes for the wedding?
Yeah. And he's useless. Guys, it's good. No, I'm actually chuffed with that. This is going to be my new niche now on TikTok. Right, lads, that is it for the first episode of On the Kase. I actually can't believe this is finally happening. I've been keeping it secret for so long, so I really hope he's enjoyed and that you tune in every single week. Remember, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see my face, I did make an effort this week. I can't promise that every week. Please do watch on YouTube as well. Make sure to be following On the Kase Pod on both TikTok and Instagram for little hints of what might be coming next week and to stay updated. And as I always say, keep it real. On the Kase with Kasey Campion is an Urban Media Wireless Ireland production. Produced and edited by Vivian Wood, Paul McGregor, Stephen King O'Farrell, and executive produced by Sasha Hamrogue. New episodes of On the Kase with me, Kasey Campion, will come out every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can watch on YouTube as well. Thanks for listening.